Let's clear something up. Most Instagram influencers aren't living the high life you imagine. The reality, most creators, even with tens of thousands of followers, barely scrape together a decent salary. The headlines about six-figure posts, that's the rare 1%. For everyone else, it's a grind, long hours, failed posts, and a lot of self-doubt. The real secret isn't a magic formula, but it's relentless hard work, creativity, and a bit of luck. Instagram is a business, not a fantasy. Success comes from building trust, one post and one follower at a time. It's not about being an overnight sensation, it's about becoming a reliable voice in a noisy room. The journey is slow, but the process is what makes it real, and that's the truth about Instagram money. And my journey began with nothing more than an old, battered phone, one that had seen better days and had a screen so scratched it was almost a filter in itself. I didn't have fancy equipment or a plan, just a restless curiosity and a device that barely held a charge. But sometimes the best stories start with the simplest tools. What I did have was a deep love for making the perfect cup of tea. There's something magical about the ritual. Waiting for the kettle to boil, choosing the right leaves, and watching the steam curl up from the cup. It was my daily comfort, my small act of self-care, and I wanted to share that joy with the world, even if it seemed a little odd. My kitchen was nothing special, just a cluttered space filled with mismatched mugs and the hum of daily life. My photos were far from perfect, often blurry or off-center, and my only followers were my family, who mostly watched out of obligation. It felt like shouting into the void, hoping someone would hear. The real challenge? Convincing anyone outside my family to care about my tea obsession. Most people scrolled past, uninterested, and I often wondered if I was just wasting my time. But then I stopped trying to be someone I wasn't. I let go of the idea of being an influencer and started leaning into my quirks. My awkward jokes, my tea mishaps, and my genuine excitement over a good brew. I began sharing honest stories, like the time I dropped a biscuit in my tea and laughed so hard I nearly spilled the whole cup. I posted about my small victories and silly mistakes, and found joy in the simple act of dunking a biscuit just right. Growth was painfully slow. Some days I'd gain a follower, only to lose two the next. It was a roller coaster of hope and disappointment, and I questioned whether anyone would ever care about my little tea world. But I kept going. I made a point to engage genuinely, leaving thoughtful comments on posts I liked, joining conversations and cheering on others who shared their passions, no matter how niche. I posted every single day, rain or shine, whether I felt inspired or not. It became a habit, a way to document my journey and connect with anyone who might be listening. The turning point came when I stopped worrying about numbers and started focusing on the handful of people who actually engaged with my posts. Their comments and encouragement meant the world to me. Slowly, a small but real community began to form. People who genuinely cared about tea, honest conversation, and a bit of laughter in their day. That genuine connection, built one cup at a time, turned out to be far more valuable than having a huge, silent audience. It was proof that even the maddest ideas can lead to something truly meaningful. With a loyal group of tea lovers by my side, I felt a sense of belonging, but also a challenge. The world of tea is vast, and everywhere I looked there were passionate voices, each with their own take on the perfect brew. Our gatherings were filled with laughter, warmth, and endless cups of tea, but I knew that if I wanted to make my mark, I needed to find what made my perspective unique. I needed to stand out, not just to be seen, but to be remembered. In a crowded shed of creators, it's easy to blend in, but I wanted to carve out a space that was unmistakably mine. My niche wasn't just tea, it was the ritual, the history, the debate over milk first or last. I realized that what drew people in wasn't just the drink, but the stories and traditions that surrounded it. The way a simple cup could spark passionate debates, or how every family seemed to have their own secret method. I planned themed content, mug of the week, brewing tips, biscuit reviews. Each post became a mini-event, something my followers could anticipate and participate in. I experimented with new formats, from quick how-to videos to deep dives into the origins of different blends. This gave my audience something to look forward to and kept me focused. It turned my page into a living, breathing space where people could learn, share, and connect over a shared love of tea. Creating content took time. I became a photographer, writer, and even a bit of a designer. Every post required planning, creativity, and a willingness to learn new skills. I found myself researching camera angles, editing techniques, and storytelling methods late into the night, and editor all after my day job. There were nights when exhaustion crept in and I questioned if it was worth it. The glamorous side of content creation is only a fraction of the story. The rest is persistence, patience, and a lot of late nights. Most people quit during this unglamorous middle stretch. It's easy to start with excitement, but much harder to keep going when progress feels slow and the results aren't immediate. But pushing through is what turns a hobby into a career. Every small win, every new follower, every message from someone who felt inspired kept me moving forward. My community grew steadily. From dozens to thousands, we shared stories, recommendations, and rituals. The comment section became a place for real conversations, and I started to recognize familiar names and faces. My page became a clubhouse, not a broadcast. It was a space where everyone felt welcome, where friendships formed over shared cups and stories. That's the environment where brands start to take notice. They see not just numbers, but genuine engagement and a thriving, passionate community. Consistency and community matter more than follower count. It's about showing up, building trust, and creating a space where people want to return again and again. That's where real opportunities begin, when your passion brings people together and your unique voice finally gets the recognition it deserves. Good content matters, but consistency is everything. One great post won't build an audience. Showing up every day will. I learned to make my photos better and tell stories in a few sentences. The Instagram algorithm rewards regular posting. More importantly, so does your audience. My daily posts built trust and routine. People started checking my page with their morning tea. That's the holy grail, becoming part of someone's day. Consistency turns casual viewers into a loyal community. It's more valuable than fancy gear or a huge follower count. Reliability is your greatest asset. That's what keeps people coming back. For months, brand deals felt like a distant dream. I'd watch other creators land sponsorships and partnerships, and I'd wonder what secret ingredient I was missing. Every day I poured my energy into making content, filming, editing, posting, and engaging with my small but loyal audience. Still, the idea of a brand actually reaching out to me felt almost impossible, like something that only happened to people with hundreds of thousands of followers. I kept telling myself to be patient, but it was hard not to feel invisible sometimes. Then, one day, everything changed. I opened my inbox to find a message from a small tea company. They weren't offering money, but they wanted to send me a free box of their newest blends in exchange for an honest review. It wasn't a huge deal, but to me it felt monumental. Someone out there had noticed my work and thought I was worth reaching out to. I remember feeling a rush of excitement as I opened the package, carefully unwrapping each item and imagining how I'd share it with my audience. It was validation. Someone saw value in what I was doing. For the first time, I realized that my content had the power to connect with real businesses, not just viewers. That email was more than just a collaboration request. It was a sign that my efforts were starting to pay off, even if only in small ways at first. I treated the collaboration seriously, unboxing, taste tests, honest reviews. I wanted to do justice to the opportunity, so I planned out my shots, wrote down my genuine thoughts, and made sure my audience knew I was giving my real opinion. I filmed the unboxing with care, describing the packaging and the aroma of the tea, and I even did a live taste test so my followers could see my authentic reaction. I wasn't a salesman, I was a trusted friend sharing a recommendation. I talked about what I liked, what surprised me, and even what I thought could be better. My goal wasn't to push a product, but to share an experience, one that felt honest and relatable. I wanted my audience to know that I'd never recommend something I didn't truly enjoy. The brand loved my approach and shared my posts, bringing new followers. Suddenly my content was being seen by people who had never heard of me before. The brand reposted my video on their own page, and I started getting messages from tea lovers and other small creators. My follower count ticked up, and for the first time I felt like I was part of a bigger community. This unpaid collaboration was a crucial step. It wasn't about the money. It was about building trust, learning how to communicate with brands, and showing what I could do when given a chance. I realized that every small opportunity could lead to something bigger if I treated it with respect and enthusiasm. It taught me how to work with brands and gave me a case study for future deals. I documented the process, saved screenshots of my posts and the brand's feedback, and made notes about what worked well and what I could improve next time. This experience became a portfolio piece I could share with other companies down the line. Authenticity and detail mattered more than follower count. Brands wanted to see real engagement and thoughtful content, not just big numbers. I learned that being genuine and thorough could set me apart, even in a crowded space. That first brand connection opened the door to real opportunities. It gave me the confidence to reach out to other companies and to believe that my voice mattered. Each new message or offer felt a little less intimidating, and I started to see a path forward. It proved I could represent a product honestly. I realized that my audience appreciated my transparency and brands respected my integrity. This foundation of trust became the cornerstone of my content, and it set the stage for paid work. That first small collaboration was the spark that ignited my journey as a creator who could turn passion into real partnerships. Every big opportunity since then can be traced back to that moment when a brand actually noticed me. After my first brand success, I got proactive. I made a list of brands I genuinely liked, no random products, just things that fit my audience. I sent personalized emails explaining why my community was a perfect match. Most ignored me, some rejected me, but one biscuit company replied they valued my engagement rate over my follower count. We negotiated a paid deal, my first real contract. I considered the work involved and asked for fair compensation. They agreed. Signing that contract was surreal. I was officially a professional. All the daily effort finally paid off. The lesson: brands want real engagement, not just big numbers. Authenticity and negotiation matter. That's how you turn a passion into a business. Success brings new challenges, burnout, trolls, and the temptation of fake followers. The pressure to create daily can be exhausting. I learned to batch content and schedule breaks. Rest made my work better. Trolls appeared as my account grew. I deleted, blocked, and moved on. My page is my living room. I don't let rude strangers in. Buying fake followers is a disaster. Brands see right through it and it kills your credibility. Engagement matters more than numbers. Building slowly and honestly is the only way. Protect your energy, your community, and your reputation. That's how you last in this game. The real secret to earning on Instagram? Trust. Everything, content, negotiation, brand deals depends on it. Trust is built slowly with every honest post. Authenticity is your tool. Be yourself, not a billboard. I only promote products I truly like. My audience can tell the difference. Turning down lucrative but off-brand deals protects your reputation. Every sponsored post spends some of your audience's trust. Reinvest it with genuine, non-sponsored content. People follow people, not ads. Never take your community's trust for granted. So that's how a tea lover turned a hobby into a living. It wasn't luck, it was consistency, community, and care. Social media keeps changing, so keep learning and adapting. Listen to your audience, they're your best guide. Start small, be patient, and celebrate every step. The rewards go to those who put in the work. If you're curious, follow along. There's always a new story and a fresh pot of tea. Cheers.